Welcome to the Hudson Valley Knits podcast. I am Amy. This is episode 92, and it is Sunday, December 3rd. I just have a quick update for you. I have some projects that I finished and some new projects on the needle, so I thought it was a good time to record and talk about it. So one of the things that I have finished is the baby sweater. Now, what the heck did I do? I think I threw out the directions. You know, talk about unprepared. So hold on. I have to get the name of the pattern off Ravelry. All right. See, I'm doing it without show notes. So it's a baby sweater for one of my coworkers. And it's the Trellis pattern by Britta Stolfus, and I can't, Rushoff, that's a guess. I made it with Lion Brand Superwash Merino Cashmere, and here it is. No buttons yet. I'm actually going to go out and get buttons at Joann's right now. So let's see. Let's talk about this pattern. Here's the back. It was knit in pieces, and I sewed it together. It was sewn together. It was kind of more trouble than it was worth. I think for a baby sweater, there's no harm in knitting it in one piece. If I do knit this again, and I'm still undecided if I'm going to knit it for my other coworker, I would knit the bottom half and back and forth in one piece, and then just split once I get to the armholes, I would split the back and the front up. And then another thing she did is she kind of knit the button band attached, and then you put stitches on a holder, and then you kind of knit the collar separate from the sweater, and then sew that on, which was actually a good thing because I kept the stitches live at the end. And I actually ended up having to knit a couple more rows to get it to fit nicely. And it was a great way to make sure that the collar fit perfectly, which it does. I liked the pattern, but again, I didn't like knitting it in pieces. It's a knitty pattern. It's free. I believe it's a knitty pattern. Yeah, it's a knitty pattern. And it is free, and I love the way it came out. I just got to go find the buttons for it. Yeah. So that is the first thing. I'm very pleased with it. But again, and I usually don't mind sewing projects, but for a baby sweater, just seemed like more trouble than it was worth. I love this yarn, by the way. Had just enough. I almost ran out. And I was actually looking at stashes to see if I could find someone that had some for sale. But I actually had just enough. With a little bit left over for sewing it together, so it worked out fine. I knit the smallest size, but my gauge was loose, so it came out bigger than it was expected to for the size I was knitting, but that's fine because the baby will eventually fit into it. So again, this is coming out with me as soon as I'm done recording. I'm going to head out to Joann's and pick out some buttons. So that is that. I also finished a pair of socks, and I finished these really quick. These are the socks from, they're called Okapi socks by Kristen Kapoor, and they came from the book Sight is Life. It's like a digital book, and the proceeds came to, were donated to the Sight is Life project. These I loved the pattern. I love how they came out. I used Knit Circus Greatest of Ease sock yarn for this that I had in my stash. Sorry, the color on this screen that I'm seeing is a little more saturated than it is in real life. But you can see how beautiful it came out. It's not too complicated. The cuff is a little fancy, as you can see. But it really came out nice, and I love it. And it was a great use of yarn because this the yarn was like $50. I think I got it at Vogue Knitting Live one year. It's a lot of money to pay for a pair of socks, but I understand that the dye job for this kind of yarn is very involved and warrants the more expensive price. All in all, very pleased. This is a special treat. I'm keeping these for myself, and I love them. And I did block them and softened them up quite a bit. All right, so that is that. I also have a half finished object. This is a Hunter Hammerson pattern. It is Naughty by Design. It is a pair of socks from one of her books. Here's a good picture. I don't know how clear it is. But these, I didn't work on these for a long time, and then when I finished this, I cast on a pair of plain vanilla socks, but then I'm like, I really need to finish the socks that I started. So here is the one I finished. And again, it's a little loose on me, and I did block this out because it is a lace pattern. It was a little scrunchy, and it did kind of relax it a bit. They are a little loose on me. I probably should have knit them with a 1.5 size needle. I think I'm knitting them with a 2. Am I? I think I am knitting them with a 1.5. So maybe I should have knit them with a 1. But all said and done, they'll be good enough. And again, another pair that I really like. I just wasn't into knitting them. Once I started this, I couldn't stop. So these went in the background. So I do have a pair of plain socks. I'm using Patons Kroy for my stash in the Cadet Blue colorway. And it's my favorite sock project bag. And it's just a plain vanilla sock. Really nice blues. They're for a co-worker who did me a favor, a solid. We kind of bartered. So I'm trying to get a good, yeah, there's the color better. Yeah, so these are going to be for him. And then, of course, my boss got jealous, and he's like, how come I don't get a pair of socks? And I'm just like, what you got for me? So my co-worker, what he did is he went online. I said I wanted those for this baby sweater. He went online and he ordered those leather buttons that you kind of get with for these types of sweaters, because I couldn't find them in the store, and I said that I had wanted them, and he's like, he went online and he ordered them for me as like a surprise. So I said in return I would knit him a pair of socks, because this guy likes custom sized socks. He wears goofy socks to work all the time. So he was really happy about that. But he ordered the wrong size buttons, and I don't have the heart to tell him that. That's why I'm still going to Joann. I kept the buttons, and he's going to get his socks, but I can't use them for this. He ordered 3/4 inch buttons, and this won't even, I think this is like a 1/2 inch, if that. So I wanted to talk to you about another project I started. I'm kind of like on the fence with this. I ordered some I got the new Mason Dixon knitting ebook for sequence knitting, their field guide series, and I have the sequence knitting book, and I really love the concepts. So I bought this, the book, and there was one pattern especially that I wanted to try, but I didn't want to pay an arm and a leg for the gradient yarns. So I went online to Knit Picks, and I tried to buy some chroma that I thought would look good. And I got these. And it is kind of looking good. Here it is so far. You can see a little bit of how it kind of fades into itself and the two colors play. But these are similar. This is lighter with grays and this is brighter with more blue. And I'm working these into this. The name of the pattern is, well, here's a picture with their yarns. And I think mine don't contrast enough, the ones I chose for this, to really kind of get the look that you're getting here and to appreciate the stitch pattern even. That's why I'm kind of on the fence about it. I think I didn't choose colors well. And the effect is that it's just not, it's not showing off the stitch pattern and it's not showing off the colors. And then on top of that, I don't like the chroma yarn. It's felting it to itself. It's, you know, I didn't print up the whole thing, so I don't remember the name of this pattern. Hold on. Let me see. I'll go on my pattern page in Ravelry and get the name of it for you. Parallelogram scarf. So again, I really want to make this scarf, but it's not working out with the chroma. It's not, and I bought enough for another one too. I bought these two colors, which actually are kind of different enough that I think this one would look better than the other one. So I don't know. I was going to use this as a nice present for my sisters for Christmas, but I stopped working on it because I really, the chroma is a single ply yarn and it felts to itself and it's knotting and it's very, I guess it's not super rough. I just don't, I'm not enjoying knitting with it. And again, like I said, you can't, it's not really showing off this sequence knitting stitch pattern the way I feel it should. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. It's in a Christmas bag by Fat Squirrel. And I'm kind of on the fence on this. I don't know what I'm going to do. Another thing I'm working on is Viajante by Martina Bain. I've been wanting to cast this pattern on for a long time. If you're not familiar or you don't remember, the Viajante is a slog of a project, but I love the outcome. Here's what this thing looks like. It's knit with lace. I'm using Spirit Trail Fiberworks Nona, which is a heavy lace in this beautiful blue. And I started over a couple of times, and I'll tell you why. The increases that she used, I didn't like how it was coming out in the fabric, so I ended up doing increases. She does the increase where you just wrap the yarn around the needle. I ended up ripping it all out and doing it with the increase as a make one left and a make one right, which results in a much tighter fabric, and I like it. So there it is. This is just going to be no rush to finish project that I can pull out whenever I'm not sure what I want to work on or I'm in between projects. This is how much I've gotten done so far. This is the opening for the head. I think it'll be big enough. I am kind of thinking maybe I could have made it bigger, but it'll have to do. So this is another project that I'm kind of enjoying, but again, this will be on the needles forever. Maybe I'll put a marker on it so that you could tell how far I've gotten, but it's not one I'll show you much because there's not much to see. So that is that. And lastly, just yesterday, I bought and cast on a new project. This pattern came into my radar by just perusing through Ravelry. It's a fairly new pattern out, and it's a pair of fingerless mitts. They're Fair Isle or stranded knitting. The printer didn't print it very well, but pinwheel mitts. And I saw this and I had a great idea. I have a ton of Knit Picks palette, and I also have in my stash these little Tosh cakes that I got years ago. I think it was the first ever, or one of the first couple of Vogue Knitting Lives, and I think Jimmy Bean was there selling these things. And what they are is like, and you could look at my stash and see them. They're there. They're called Tosh cakes. And I bought yellows, greens, and reds. And what I did is I magic knotted them together, and I created like a gradient cake. So here is one of them. I split the little cakes in half, and then I magic knotted them, and I'm making like a gradient for one color, and the other color will be this as a solid. And here you can see how far I've gotten with the first mitt. And I'm really digging it. I think it's coming out really good. You can see the ombre effect. The only thing I'm regretting is I think I did 300 yards worth of cakes, and I think it's not going to use it all, and the really cool colors were at the end of my thing. I might actually rip this out and start over again and eliminate maybe the first two colors and start with this brighter yellow so that I could get these really, you could see there's a green here. There's orange, and then it's like a hot pink, and then a red, and then a green, and it's going to look so good, but I think I'm going to not be able to use it all. But I would have no problem ripping it out and starting again. This would be a Christmas present for my sister Kim, and I really used colors that I felt she would love. So that's my quick down and dirty little vlog, if you will. Again, I kind of mentioned before that I'm kind of changing my game here, where I'm not trying to do big episodes, or I'm not going to go to any big trouble to get it recorded outside unless I feel like it. And I'm just going to update the podcast when I have stuff to show you, and that's basically it. That's all I have to show you. I've been having a lot of fun with what I've been working on, and also things have been going pretty well here at home. My mother-in-law is getting around much better than she was when she first got here, so we're very grateful for that. And I'm really grateful to all of you for your support. And we're all doing good. And thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.